Yo, what's up guys, hope you guys are doing good. So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got harem with Juvia, Levy and Mirajane, part 1. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic NaruinoFTW, link is in the description, and also subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. In the northern part of Fiori, sat a small village known as the River Village. The village was just a small quiet little place with fishermen and a handful of mages, most of which were traveling through on a job or wandering the country. The only mages who had made their home in the village was that of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Dragneel Uzumaki. Along with them were their two sons, Naruto who was 12 and Natsu who was 8. We find Naruto and his father outside their small home doing yard work. The small family lived about 2 miles from the village. Naruto stood about 5 feet and 5 inches tall. He had blonde hair that was tinted red at the tips and blue eyes. He wore a light blue shirt that hugged his slightly muscled chest and stomach. He had on a pair black pants that had a whirlpool design on one leg and a pair of sandals. "Dad, when can you and Mom start teaching me how to use magic?" Naruto asked. "We will start teaching you when you are old enough to be the man of the house, Naruto. The same thing I have told you the last 500 times you asked. Why don't you go play with those fangirls of yours?" Minato asked with a light laugh. Naruto lightly shivered at the mention of fangirls. For the past couple years, for some unknown reason, he had a group of girls following him around and it was really starting to aggravate him. "Hell no, not a fucking chance. I wish they would just leave me alone," Naruto said, only to be smacked on the head by Minato. "What have I told you about that damn cursing?" Minato asked with a sigh. "Why don't you go help your mother, she's making that god-forsaken ramen you both love so much. Don't disrespect the ramen, it's God's gift to humans." Naruto shouted, only for it to be echoed by his mother from the house. "At least Natsu doesn't take after you too," Minato whispered to himself. Naruto walked inside and headed toward the kitchen. He started down the hallway and was suddenly tackled into a hug by his little brother. "Naruto Nai," shouted Natsu as he hugged Naruto. "Well, it's good to see you, Natsu, I have only been out for a few minutes. You make it seem like you haven't seen me in ages." Naruto chuckled while ruffling the younger boy's hair. While Naruto loved his parents very much, he would always love his younger brother just a little bit more. As they continued down the hall, they came to the kitchen to find their mother in front of the stove. She had long red hair and violet eyes. She had a light blue dress on with an apron over top of it. She turned to see her two boys and smiled at them. "Ah, Naruto-kun, I'm making ramen today." Kushina started with a smile. "I know, Dad was disrespecting the ramen again and I gave him a good warning," Naruto replied as he sat down at the table. "Good boy, at least one of you two takes after your mother. I need you, Natsu, and your father to run into the village and get a few things for dinner before it's done, please," Kushina said as she held out a list. Naruto grabbed the list along with Natsu's hand and pulled him out the door. The trio of gentlemen were talking and laughing as they headed home from the village. They were laughing and having fun spending time with just the three of them. All of a sudden the sky turned black and there was a flash of lightning a few hundred feet from them that struck the ground. When the smoke settled, there stood before them the towering form of one of Xeris demons, Deliora. The trio stood frozen with shock, as did everyone else. Deliora looked around for a few seconds before it started walking while firing off blasts of magic energy. One blast landed in the direction the trio was walking, causing them to break out of their shock. "Kushina, Mom!" Minato and the boys yelled as they ran off towards their house to check on Kushina. -5 minutes later. Minato fell to his knees in grief as they arrived at their home, or what used to be their home. All that was left was a large pile of rubble and the metallic smell of blood. The two younger Uzumaki boys began to cry over their mother that they knew was dead. Minato had tears in his eyes as he began shaking in rage while his magic began swirling around him. "Deliora!" Minato screamed as he rushed off to fight the demon. "Damn it, Dad!" Naruto growled out as he turned to Natsu. "Stay here, Natsu, I'm gonna go see if I can help Dad. But I want to help too. You know I'll just follow you if you don't let me come," Natsu replied with tears still in his eyes. Naruto quickly moved behind him and gave him a chop to the neck, knocking the young pink-haired boy out. He laid Natsu on the ground near the remains of their home and placed a kiss on the young boy's forehead, thinking that this would be the last time he saw him. "I love you, Natsu. Grow to be a powerful mage and a good man and make us proud," Naruto replied as he turned and ran after his dad. -3 minutes later. On the way back into the village, Naruto had noticed that the sound of battle had stopped and Deliora was walking around destroying buildings. Scared out of his mind, Naruto frantically started searching around the ruined village for his father. Dad, where are you?" Hearing weak coughs coming from a nearby building, he immediately started removing the rubble. He gasped in grief and horror when he found his dad. His legs were bent in unnatural positions, and there were 2 metal pipes sticking through his stomach with a growing pool of blood underneath him. "I don't look too good, do I?" Minato joked through the pain. "Just be quiet, you need to save your strength. I'll get you out of here and then we can beat Leora together," Naruto said with fresh tears in his eyes. Minato just sadly shook his head. "You know as well I do that I'm already a dead son. Listen carefully, you are the man of the family now and you have to do whatever it takes to take care of Natsu. It'll be a hard life for a while, but I know you can make it, you are my son after all." The blonde just looked at his dying father with tears streaking down his face. "I promise, I will do everything I can to keep Natsu safe. I know you will be, Naruto. Always remember that your mother and I love you and make sure Natsu knows as well. You both need to train hard and grow to be strong men and even stronger mages. Your mother and I will always be watching over you. I love you, Naruto." And with that said, the light left Minato's eyes and left the world with a small smile. Naruto stood with tears in his eyes looking at his dad's lifeless form. He turned around to confront the demon to the best of his ability. When he turned around, Leora's towering frame was standing over him looking down on top of him. The last thing he saw was Leora raise its arm and swing at him as darkness took him. In the skies above Fiori was a large golden dragon with a long white beard. This was the Dragon King, Ryu. As flew over the area where the river village once stood, he could smell death and feel the presence of a demon. Deciding to investigate, he flew down and found the destroyed village. As he looked around for survivors, he found the young blonde knocked out and seemed to be injured. He gently picked up the boy and gently placed him on his back. "Kid, you have been through a lot over the past few hours if my hunch about who did this is correct. Take comfort that after I perform some healing, you will be the one and only student and son of Ryu, the mighty Dragon King." The dragon focused his magic and the two were gone in a large flash of light. The dragon was so caught up in saving the boy that he didn't notice a large red dragon that was lifting off the ground a little over a mile away with a young pink-haired boy. 4 days later. Naruto's eyes snapped open and he shot up in a cold sweat. "It's good to see you are finally awake. After all the healing I did, I figured you would have been up a little sooner." A deep voice echoed throughout the area he was in. He looked around and found himself in a small large clearing surrounded by a forest. Looking down, he found himself in a black trench coat, white shirt with a whirlpool design on the chest, black jeans, and a pair of black shoes. "Who are you, and did you save me?" Naruto frantically shouted, worried for Natsu. From the forest came a large golden dragon with his long grey beard dragging across the ground. "I am Ryu, the mighty Dragon King. Unfortunately you are the only survivor I found," the dragon said sympathetically. "Mom, Dad, Natsu, I have nothing to live for now." Naruto was brought from his borderline suicidal thoughts when a large tail hit him in the back of the head. "Do you think your family would want you to harm yourself in any way? If your family truly loved you, then they would want you to live on for them. It's alright to grieve for a while, but don't let it bring you down. The true mark of a strong person and their ability to get back up after being knocked down." "Thank you, but it will take some time to fully get over this," Naruto replied. "That is to be expected. I have a little offer for you." Seeing Naruto nod, the dragon continued. "I wish to train you in my magic. I can use the magic of the 5 main elements. Lightning being my strongest, but I can also use fire, water, wind, and earth as well. It is a winning situation for both of us. I gain a student to pass my teachings to, and you gain a way to protect those precious to you," the dragon explained as Naruto thought it over. Naruto looked up to the dragon and gave him a small smile. "I accept. I want to be able to protect those that are important to me. I will live on for my family and will continue to make them proud." The dragon pulled a small crystal from behind it and held it up for Naruto. "This is an all-elemental lacrima, it will allow you to use each of the 5 elements. All you have to do is see one of the 5 elements being used in magic and with some training, you too will be able to use them. It also grants your body protection from the elements outside. You could be surrounded by snow and you would never feel it because of this lacrima. I will train you for the next 8 years in my forms of magic and by the time we are through, you will be able to protect everyone you hold precious," explained Ryu. 8 years later. Naruto, now 20 years old, stood panting as he used one of Ryu's unique spells. Over the last years, Naruto had learned his father's clone and spells. He had mastered the Lightning Dragon Slayer magic and could use fire, wind, earth, and water dragon slayer magics as well, but to a lesser degree. He had also mastered the Dragon Force that had taken him nearly 2 years to do so. "You have done well, Naruto. All that is left is for you to continue to practice the magic and master them all and protect those you see precious. I have something for you, Naruto." The dragon spoke as he stood watching Naruto train. Naruto walked over and stood in front of Ryu. "What is Ryu-sensei?" Naruto asked curiously. The King of Dragons grinned and extended his right paw forward and, as Naruto saw, his jaw dropped. It was a long-sleeved coat made of what appeared to be gold scales. It had black fur lining the neck and sleeve cuffs. "Think Makarov's just golden scales, how do you like it? It's made from my own scales, and it has a seal in it which will allow it to grow and shrink to any size you need it to be," the dragon stated with pride his work. Naruto took the coat and slipped into it and noticed it fell just above his ankles. With a tired grin he hugged the snout of the dragon. "Thank you, father." Ryu's eyes opened widely when he heard Naruto call him father. Over the years, Naruto had come to terms with what happened to his family but could never bring himself to call Ryu father. Ryu allowed a gentle smile to cross his face. He looked down at the sleeping young man with sadness. "Forgive me, Naruto, I doubt you will understand what I'm about to do for some time. Carry your head high and never let anyone ever bring you down. Live life to the fullest, son of Ryu and prince of the dragons," the dragon said as he gently laid Naruto down and placed a large egg down beside him. Little did he know that his speech had woken the young blonde and he had heard it all. It had been a month since Ryu had left Naruto alone. Naruto didn't know why he left, but he had a feeling he would see him again one day. Naruto currently stood at the top of a cliff overlooking a large expanse of forest. Sitting on his head was a red-furred cat. This was Kurama. Kurama had hatched from the egg his father had left him shortly after Naruto began his journey, and Kurama had grown to stand at a height of 2.5 feet. The two were staring over the forest below, enjoying the small break from walking when Kurama stood up. "You smell that, Naruto?" Kurama asked as he sniffed the air. Naruto nodded slightly as he looked around trying to find where the smell was coming from. As he scanned the forest below him, Naruto heard an explosion off in the distance and saw a tower of smoke begin to rise. He wasn't sure what was going on but decided to see if he could help. "Let's go to Kurama," Naruto said as he ran and jumped off the cliff and began to plummet to the trees below. Kurama hopped off Naruto's head as a small magic circle appeared on his back. In a flash of light, 2 orange-colored wings appeared and Kurama began to fly. Kurama flew above Naruto's falling form and grabbed a hold of his dragon-scaled coat and began to fly toward the direction of smoke and explosions. "What are you going to do if I miss catching you one day?" Kurama asked. "Don't know, guess I'll figure it out when that time comes," Naruto said with a shrug of his shoulders causing Kurama to sigh. A short blue-haired girl was enjoying her day just like any other day before. She was out walking through the forest surrounding the small village she lived in. All of a sudden, she heard an explosion and saw the smoke rising in the direction of her village. She took off in a run in order to make it to the village to check on her mother and father. When she arrived back at the village, she wasn't expecting what was waiting for her. There was a group of cloaked figures attacking the people of her village. There were bodies of both the villages and the unknown people scattered around the streets and buildings. She quickly made her way toward her house worried about the safety of her parents. When she turned the final corner to her house, she stopped dead in her tracks. Her house was up in flames and there seemed to be no sign of life anywhere nearby. "Mom, Dad," she yelled frantically as tears built in her eyes. Hearing footsteps behind her, she quickly turned around and saw 5 of the cloaked figures looking at her. "This village was a little tougher than we thought. We lost quite a bit of our men and now we need replacements and you are gonna fill one of the empty spots," one of the figures spoke as he walked forward. Levy swung her right arm in an arc in front of her as the word fire appeared in the air in front of her. The next second, the man was being burned alive in front of his friends. The remaining 4 people quickly surrounded her. Levy tried to find an opening to escape when something in the corner of her eye caught her attention. Naruto and Kurama were flying at high speeds towards the sound of destruction. As they got nearer, they could see what they assumed to be the people of the village fighting against cloaked figures. Naruto and Kurama stopped over the village and looked around to see who they could help. The villagers had been killed and all that remained were 5 of the cloaked people. Naruto then saw the young blue-haired girl fighting off the attackers. When the people surrounded her after she took one of their friends out, he moved in to help. Naruto's hand was covered in red lightning as he nodded at Kurama to let him go. He saw the girl's attention turn to him as he fell through the air. "Rikiri," Naruto shouted as his hand passed through one of the figure's chest, killing him instantly. Naruto walked over to the young girl as Kurama landed beside them. "You can leave this young girl alone and leave this village, or you can die just like your friend did here. Your choice," Naruto said as he stood in front of the girl. "It's 3 of us against you, a young girl and a cat. You got lucky and surprised us, it won't happen again," shouted one of the people. Naruto just shrugged as he turned and nodded to Kurama. Kurama had a dark grin on his face as his body began to grow. Soon he was standing even with Naruto at 6 feet tall. Just like Panther Lily, Naruto focused his magic for a minute before he was covered in the red lightning that covered his hand moments ago. Lightning armor of the Raikage. This is my lightning armor, and that, Naruto said pointing to Kurama, is his battle mode. The one thing about these two modes, they greatly increase our speed. Naruto said before he and Kurama disappeared from sight only to reappear behind the remaining 3 people. One after the other, each person fell with either a hole in their chest or their throats ripped open. Naruto deactivated his armor and Kurama shrunk back to his normal form. They then turned and walked toward a scared and shaking girl. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and this is Kurama. We were passing by and heard the explosions, are you okay? Naruto asked. The girl shook her head and fell to her knees, letting her tears flow. My parents, they killed my parents. What am I supposed to do now? She screamed. Naruto knelt beside her and pulled the sobbing girl into a hug to try and comfort her. I lost my parents and my brother when I was young as well. When my adoptive father took me in, he told me to get stronger so that I could protect those precious to me and never let something like that happen again. I know it's tough, but you have to move on and get stronger and make your parents proud. I am heading to a magic guild known as Fairy Tail. Would you like to join me? The girl just sat there staring at her burning house for a few minutes. She knew there was nothing she could do to save her parents, so she would take Naruto's advice and get stronger and make her parents proud. She looked at Naruto and gave him a nod. My name is Levy and Mirajane. Nice to meet you, Levy. Let's get a move on just in case more of these guys decide to show up, Naruto said as he pulled her to her feet. It was silent as Naruto continued leading the trio toward Magnolia Town. It had been about an hour since they had left Levy's village and were currently making their way through a small town, and the awkward silence between the three was starting to aggravate him. He decided to try and start a conversation to get rid of the silence, but as he started to speak, Levy beat him to it. Naruto, mind if I ask you a question? Go for it, Naruto said, looking at her from the corner of his eye. What was it like to have a sibling? If you don't mind me asking, Levy asked. At times it was a pain in the ass, and others were fun and exciting. Me and my Natsu were the only kids in my family, and then there was my mom and dad. I loved Natsu more than anything. Sure, he could be a pain at times, but he was my brother and I wouldn't have it any other way. I always did want a little sister though. We lived in a small village in the northern part of Fiori and we're pretty happy with our lives there. Naruto explained with a small smile as he remembered back. What about you, do you have any siblings? No, I am an only child. It was only me and my parents in our village. Do you mind if I ask what happened to your family? Levy asked a bit quietly, unsure if he was okay with talking about it. One day out of nowhere the demon Deliora appeared and attacked the village. My mom was one of the first to be killed. My dad went after the demon to fight it and left me and Natsu at the destroyed house. I knocked Natsu out so he wouldn't follow me and went after our dad only to find him barely alive. Soon after he died, Deliora swatted me away and I was knocked unconscious. When I finally woke up I learned that the Dragon King Ryu had saved me and healed me, but there were no other survivors. He trained me in Dragon Slayer magic and became my adopted father until he left about a month ago. Naruto explained, missing the shocked expression on Levy's face. After noticing Levy had stopped walking, he turned to see her just standing there staring at him. What? He asked as he raised an eyebrow. Dragons don't exist, there is no way you could have been raised by a dragon, Levy stated in disbelief. But dragons do exist and I was raised by one. Like I said, I was raised by Ryu, the Dragon King, and I am his son, the Prince of Dragons. My dragon father used elemental magic using fire, wind, water, earth, and lightning for his attacks. My main magic is lightning, but I too can use the other four as well. I can also learn other elemental magics thanks to a lacrima that was implanted in my body, Naruto said as he created a small ball of fire and water in each hand before continuing his walk. Levy just shook her head to try and clear it for the time being and caught up with Naruto and Kurama. As the trio neared the outside of the town it began to rain all of a sudden. After a few more minutes of walking, Naruto heard someone crying and decided to investigate. He found a man and woman talking and noticed that the crying was coming from the woman. After listening to the man complain about the woman and rain always following her around and then breaking up with her, Naruto stepped in. He walked up behind the man and put his foot on the man's back before giving him a hard push and causing him to face plant the ground in front of him. Oi jackass, just because the rain follows her around doesn't give you the right to belittle her about it. Now beat it before I beat you, Naruto said. The woman was surprised that this stranger was sticking up for her and had to admit that he was slightly attractive. The man on the other hand was extremely pissed. He stood up and threw a punch at Naruto, who caught it in his hand. Naruto squeezed his hand shut and applied pressure to the guy's hand, and his eyes became silted. "I said beat it." Naruto growled out as his magic energy was focused on the man in front of him. The guy just nodded as Naruto released his hand before running off. Naruto then turned to the woman and gave her a small smile. "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine, thank you," replied the woman. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki and this is Kurama and Levy." "What was that all about?" Naruto asked after introducing himself and the other two. "I'm Juvia Loxer, that was my boyfriend breaking up with me because of this rain that always follows me around," explained Juvia with a saddened look. "Well, he doesn't deserve to have someone like you. There is nothing wrong with the rain, someone as pretty as you can do a lot better than someone like that guy. We are on our way to the Fairy Tail Guild in Magnolia Town, would you like to travel with us?" Naruto asked. All of a sudden the rain stopped and the sun returned. Naruto missed the blush that spread across Juvia's face, but it was noticed by Kurama and Levy. Juvia meanwhile was picturing different dates with Naruto to notice too much. Naruto snapped his fingers in front of her face and she was brought out of her daydream. "I would like to, but I can't, I am already in a guild called Phantom Lord and I must be getting back. Thank you for your invitation though. I hope to see you again one day," Juvia said as she turned to walk away with a blush still on her face. Naruto, Kurama and Levy started their journey towards Fairy Tail once again. "I think she likes you," Levy said with a small chuckle. "We just met, how could you think she likes me?" Naruto asked. "Just call it women's intuition." Levy laughed out at Naruto's confused look. It had been about a week of traveling since the three had left the town where they had met Juvia. Naruto, Kurama and Levy were walking through Magnolia Town on their way to the guild hall in the southern part of town. As they got closer to the guild hall, all three were wowed by the size of the guild, since the two humans were from small villages and Kurama had only been around for a little more than a month. Naruto opened the door and the three walked into the guild. They looked around the building and saw people drinking and conversing, a small brawl in one corner of the guild hall, and people taking pieces of paper from a board and handing them to a short elderly man sitting on the bar. Naruto led the group further into the guild and up to the older man. "Excuse me, we're looking for the guild master. Do you know where he is?" Naruto asked. "Indeed I do, my name is Makarov Dreher. I am Fairy Tail's guild master, how may I help you?" Makarov asked with a smile. "I thought the guild master would be a bit taller and younger." Naruto whispered to himself, but Makarov still heard him. Before Makarov could reply, Levy spoke up. "My name is Levy and Mirajane and this is Naruto Uzumaki and Kurama. We would like to join the guild please." "Another Uzumaki, is he related to Natsu?" Makarov thought while looking over the three. "What type of magic do you use and where would you consider your power levels to be?" Kurama hopped off Naruto's head and started to grow in size. This caught the attention of a few people in the building. After a few seconds, he was standing next to Naruto looking at a shocked Makarov. "This is my battle form, I am a decent hand-to-hand fighter and I use air magic." Makarov just nodded and looked at Levy. "I use a type of letter magic called solid script, I'm not really sure about my power level though." Makarov finally turns his attention to Naruto. "And what about you?" "My magic is a lost magic known as Dragon Slayer magic. My adoptive father was the Ryu, the king of dragons, and knew magic for fire, water, earth, wind, and lightning. He taught me his magic and implanted a lacrima in me that allows me to learn magic of the 5 elements and allows my body to adapt to different types of weather. I also use clone magic. As for my power level, I would say I am equal to what you all would consider S-class." Naruto explained, getting looks of shock and disbelief from others around the guild. Makarov thought the information over for a few minutes. He had heard about the different types of dragon slayers, considering both Natsu and his own grandson were dragon slayers in their own right. He knew he needed to test Naruto's level to be sure, he was just unsure of who to put against him. Just then, the door flew open and Makarov smirked. "Urza, just in time. I need you to have a spar against this young man and test his power. He believes himself to be on the S-class level, so we will have an S-class mage fight him. Come on everyone," Makarov said as he led everyone out back. Naruto stood on one side of the training area while Urza was on the other side. "No severe or killing blows," Makarov said before moving off the field. "Better take this off first, she wouldn't be able to touch me if I didn't," Naruto said as he took his coat off and handed it to Levy. "And why is that?" Makarov asked. "It is made from dragon scales, the strongest there is since it came from the Dragon King," Naruto explained before turning back to Urza. "Lightning armor," Naruto said as he was covered in red lightning. The glow surrounded Urza's body. When it vanished, she was standing in a new set of armor. Lightning Empress armor. Urza decided to move first as she ran toward Naruto, who just stood there. Urza swung the spear at Naruto's chest, but her attack hit nothing. Urza and everyone watching was shocked. Naruto appeared behind her and kicked her in the back, causing her to stumble forward. Lightning and speed, two can play that game. Requip. Urza was once again surrounded by a light glow as her Lightning Empress armor was replaced with her flight armor, although she still held her spear. Naruto stared for a few seconds before one question came to mind. Are those ears and a tail? Those watching just sweat dropped at the blonde as Urza vanished in a burst of speed. Naruto just barely had time to duck as Urza lunged with a spear. Naruto hopped backwards, putting a little distance between him and Urza. Urza rushed forward again, though this time Naruto was focused. He deactivated his armor and stomped his foot on the ground as it started shaking. Seismic quake. Urza was taken by surprise and lost her balance and fell backwards. What was that? Urza asked. I know the magic of the 5 main elements, Urza. I also know a few unique magics. Clone magic. Naruto said as 2 identical copies appeared beside him before rushing Urza. Urza easily slashed through the clones before she heard Naruto. Wind Dragon's Wing Beat. Naruto clapped his hands together in front of him as a blast of wind went sailing towards Urza. Naruto took out 2 small kunai knives and threw them in 2 different directions before making 2 more clones that vanished in a flash of lightning. They reappeared at the exact spot the kunai landed and waited. The magic circle appeared on Naruto's hand as he placed it on the ground. Stone hand. A large hand rose from the earth and grabbed Urza and threw her toward one clone. As she neared the first clone, the clone raised his hands and a circle appeared in front of him. Water Dragon's Raging Current. A stream of water flew at Urza and pushed her toward the other waiting clone. Fire Dragon's Flaming Talon. The clone jumped in the air as his foot was set on fire as he spun and kicked Urza in the gut, sending her crashing to the earth. Urza slowly picked herself up and used her spear to stand. She once again put on her armor and stared at Naruto. This is my Heaven's Wheel armor, one of the strongest that I possess. Naruto watched as 20 swords appeared behind her and began circling as if waiting for a command. Dance, my blades. And just like that, Naruto found himself doing his best to dodge each sword that tried to slice him. After dodging for several minutes, Naruto had several cuts along his body and both he and Urza were getting tired. Naruto took his eyes off Urza for just a second to dodge a slice. When he looked back, Urza was in front of him. Trinity Blade. Urza shouted and sliced at Naruto as she turned her blade so the flat surface would hit him and send him flying. Urza appeared over Naruto with a sword at his throat. I win. You sure? Naruto asked with a smirk. Urza heard crackling and looked over her shoulder to see a clone with his hand covered in lightning at her lower back. Everyone watching was shocked and surprised, shocked because there were very few who could trade blows with Urza, and surprised because the spar ended in a draw. I will think everything over and let you know tomorrow what I have decided. Go and get some rest, and if you need a place to stay the night, you can stay in the guild hall. You go and get checked up to Urza. Makarov said as Urza nodded and left. This boy definitely has some potential to be something truly amazing. Just as everyone was heading back to the guild, they all heard a loud scream. There was a fight and no one invited me. Everyone just sighed and shook their heads as a young pink-haired boy came running into the training area. Everyone just ignored him and went on except for the blind and a few others. Naruto stood there, staring at the new arrival. As Natsu looked around the area, he caught the gaze of Naruto and immediately went quiet. The remaining people were wondering what was going on as they watched the interaction. Naruto was the first to break the silence that had filled the area. Atoto. Naruto Nai. Natsu shouted as he tackled his brother in a hug. I thought you were dead. When I finally woke up, I was in the care of a dragon named Igniel, and he said I was the only survivor. So you were raised by a dragon too. My dragon father was named Ryu. He told me the same thing when I asked if he found anyone else. I thought I had lost all my family back then. Naruto replied as he pulled Natsu into another hug. What gives the flame a brain? How are you two related? You're a Dragniel, and he's an Uzumaki. Asked a shirtless black-haired boy. Natsu's full name is Natsu Dragniel Uzumaki. I was the only other one who knew other than him. Makarov said. During my time with Igniel, I just kinda dropped the Uzumaki part and went by Natsu Dragniel. I'm not really sure why Gray, but I just went with it. Natsu said. What happened to separate you guys? Asked a small white-haired girl in a red dress. Payless Anna. Gray said. Our village was attacked by the demon Deliora when we were younger. It killed our parents and everyone else. As far as I know, it seems we were both saved by a dragon and raised as dragon slayers. Naruto explained as he caught Gray's reaction to the demon's name. I'm guessing you lost someone to Deliora too. Yeah, first it attacked the town I lived in. I survived and was taken in by my teacher. Deliora attacked again and I ran off to fight it. My teacher gave her life to save me and another of her students because of my want for revenge. Gray explained. Let's go catch up with Natsu, it's been a long time. Come on Gray, I'm sure there are things we can talk about too. It had been 2 years since Naruto had joined the magic guild known as Fairy Tail, and he couldn't be happier. He currently lay in bed thinking about everything that had happened since he arrived at Fairy Tail. He had gotten his brother back after thinking him to be dead all those years. He also had the rest of Fairy Tail as family as well, and he and Natsu had even come to see Gray as more of a brother than anyone else after learning his family was also killed by the demon Deliora. Sure, the whole guild was rowdy, loud, and constantly brawling around the guild, but that's what Naruto loved about his new home and family. Naruto was allowed to become an S-class wizard a few days after his and Urza's spar. Feeling a slight shift of movement in the bed, Naruto looked down at the blue head of hair that was currently using his chest for a pillow. He smiled as he gently rubbed her arm so as to not wake her as she slept. This was Juvia Loxer and one of the 3 girls that currently held his heart. As he watched the young woman sleep, his thoughts drifted back to the day that the two had gotten together. Flashback 6 months after joining Fairy Tail. Naruto sat in a small restaurant in the capital city of Crocus enjoying a nice lunch. Across from was a young blue-haired woman dressed in a long navy blue coat and a Russian Cossack hat. This had become a common thing for Naruto ever since meeting her a few months back. They would meet up somewhere to have lunch and catch up with one another. Naruto sat staring at the young woman for a few minutes before she noticed and spoke up. Is there something on Juvia's face? Juvia asked as she tried to find a mirror in her back. Naruto just chuckled as he reached for her hand to stop her. There is nothing on your face, Juvia-chan, I was just admiring your beauty. Naruto said, causing the rain woman to blush. He thinks Juvia is beautiful. Of course he does, now you need to act before someone else takes him away from you. No one will take him from me, Naruto-kun and Juvia belong together. As Juvia zoned off with her internal conversation, Naruto just let out a small chuckle. He had noticed a while back that she only seemed to do that when they were alone or she was thinking about him. Naruto's laugh brought Juvia from her daydreams. She noticed it was no longer raining, so she decided to go through with her thoughts. Naruto-kun, take a walk with Juvia. Juvia said as she stood up and held out her hand. Naruto just smiled and allowed her to lead him wherever. As they walked through Crocus, Juvia was both surprised and happy that Naruto had yet to try and remove his hand from hers. As they neared a small park on the edge of the city, Juvia grew nervous about what she was about to do. She knew she liked Naruto, but was causing her to be nervous and was wondering if he liked her at all. They walked through the park and came to a bench that sat under the shade of a large cherry blossom tree. She sat down on the bench and soon after Naruto followed her lead. Naruto-kun, there is something Juvia wishes to tell you. Juvia said, trying to hide her blush was about to happen. Alright, I'm listening. Naruto replied as he turned to face the woman beside him. Before Naruto could register what was going on, Juvia had taken a hold of the front of his shirt and captured his lips against hers. At first Naruto was surprised, but he quickly got over that and started to kiss back. Juvia was about to break the kiss and backed away when she noticed Naruto wasn't doing anything. That was until she felt his hand move and cup her cheek as he deepened the kiss. After a few minutes of the lip lock, they broke apart due to lack of oxygen. So Juvia-chan, what were you going to tell me? Naruto asked the still blushing Juvia. Juvia likes you, Naruto-kun, a lot. Juvia replied as she leaned against Naruto and rested her head on his shoulder. Flashback end. Ever since that day, Juvia had visited Naruto in Magnolia and had taken jobs that would allow her to spend a few days with him after being completed. The Phantom Lord Guildmaster didn't like his mages being with someone from a different guild, so Juvia had to find ways to spend time with her loved one. As Naruto looked to his left, he was met with the sight of his other 2 girlfriends. He honestly hadn't expected to be with more than one girl, and these 2 were at the bottom of his list if he ever did. The first was the blue-haired beauty known as Levy and Mirajane that had first seemed like a sister, but as times changed, so did their feelings for one another. As for the other woman, she could only be described as a white-haired goddess, Mirajane Strauss. The day his feelings started to change for these 2 women was one he would never forget. Flashback 13 months after joining. The day was a pretty normal day for Naruto as he sat at the bar watching the guild members interact with one another. It was late afternoon and Naruto was waiting for Team Shadow Gear so the 4 of them could start their mission and he could be back in time to see Juvia. As he was drinking his beer, he was tackled in the back from behind as a pair of arms wrapped around him from behind. Turning in the hug to face whoever it was, he saw the smiling face of Lisana. "Hello Lisana, what can I do for you today?" Naruto asked as he returned the hug. "Nothing, I just came to say goodbye before I left for my mission. Elfman, Mira, and I are going on another mission today. Mira says it will help us to get some more experience," Lisana said. "Well, you all be careful, okay, and don't forget that rune I put on your ring. If you need me, just push some magic into it and I will be there in a flash," Naruto said, reminding the young girl. "I know Naruto Nai, and we will be. See you later," Lisana said as she ran off after her siblings just as Shadow Gear entered. "Yo Naruto, we're ready to go when you are," Troy said. "I'm coming, come on Kurama." Naruto got up and started walking as Kurama placed his milkshake down and flew into Levy's arms. "You're supposed to be my cat, you know that right?" "Yeah, but Levy is more gentle than you and doesn't bounce me around everywhere when she walks," Kurama replied. "Then walk from now on," Naruto huffed, causing the other three to laugh at the interaction between the two. When Naruto and Shadow Gear made it to the small town that needed their help, they immediately went to the mayor to get the information they needed. The mission was pretty straightforward. A group of slave traders had come though and kidnapped some of the girls and women of the town, including the mayor's daughter. The four mages were tasked with tracking them down and returning everyone safely to the village. With the information they needed, they quickly left to go and track down the slave traders. It took the team about 2 hours to track them down considering the head start they had on the mages. Scouting out the area, they were able to locate all 15 prisoners including the mayor's daughter. As they turned to leave the area, Levy noticed a person that she hadn't seen in a long time. "Naruto looks," Levy said, pointing to a tall man with blue hair and a tattoo just over his right eye. Naruto looked in the direction Levy pointed and when he saw the man, he let out a small growl. "Jet, Droy, take out anyone you can that isn't a hostage or one of us." Levy, after the area is cleared of most of the enemy, goes in and saves the prisoners and leads them back to the town. "Kurama, you help Levy and keep her safe if any of them get past us. Bora is mine and mine alone. The three of us will catch up once we are done here," Naruto said, getting nods of agreement from Shadow Gear. Naruto activated his lightning armor as he vanished in a blur of red headed for his target. As he rushed in towards Bora, he knocked out anyone who he came close to with a chop to the back of the neck or a quick punch to the face. When he neared Bora, he slowed down and stopped his lightning armor and landed in front of the man. "Been a while since we last met. About a little payback for when you kicked me in front of Juvia," Bora said with a smirk when he saw Naruto. "Ha, you wish. Tell you what though, I will let you have one free hit and then I will hit you one time and we'll see which one is left standing," Naruto said. "Whatever you say brat, but you won't be standing after this. Hell prominence," Bora shouted as he jumped backwards before holding his hands up in front of him. A magic seal appeared in front of him and it started gathering purple energy. Once that was done, the attack fired in the form of a large laser-like beam headed straight for Naruto. Naruto braced himself as he pulled his coat in front of him and let the attack hit him as the attack exploded when it connected. When the dust settled, Bora was surprised to see Naruto still standing there unharmed. "How the hell did you survive that?" "My coat is made from dragon scales. This thing can hold up against attacks a lot stronger than yours. Now it's my turn," Naruto said as he charged forward, creating a small ball of wind magic in his hand. "Rasengan," Naruto shouted as he shoved the ball into Bora's gut, sending the man flying and knocking him out. Naruto turned to see Jet and Droy walking up to him. They are all tied up and it doesn't seem like he will be waking up anytime soon. "We can call and have them picked up once we get back to town," Jet said, getting a nod from Naruto as they made their way back to the town. Levy met them on the outskirts of town, explaining that she already explained what happened to the mayor and he had already made the call for Bora and his men to be picked up. She gave each of the boys their cut of the reward money and handed a small box to Naruto. When he looked inside, he saw a few different kinds of lacrima and looked at Levy. "Part of the reward for the rescue. Remember how you were talking about Natsu learning that one thing you can do, but wasn't sure if he could since he didn't have a lacrima? Well, there you go, now you just gotta figure out what to do from here," Levy explained. Naruto went to reply, but stopped when he felt a magic pulse and knew who it came from. He got a worried look in his eyes as he handed the lacrima back to Levy. "Kurama, let's go, Lisana's in trouble." As soon as Kurama landed on his shoulder, he was gone in a flash of red lightning. "This can't be good, we need to get back to the guild," Levy said before she took off for Fairy Tail. Naruto appeared just in time to see Lisana be sent flying by a large beast. "Lisana," he shouted as he watched her fly through the air and land on the ground with a thud. He turned and rushed the beast before jumping into the air as his foot was covered in flames and sparking with lightning. Lightning Dragon's flame talon. He shouted as he spun and delivered a kick to the side of the beast's head. He started toward the beast with the intent to kill it before another scream stopped him. Naruto doesn't, that's Elfman. He isn't in control of his takeover. Mira yelled. Kurama, knock him out, nothing else. Naruto said, getting a nod from Kurama. Naruto then turned and rushed toward Lisana where Mira was already at. Don't cry Ni-chan, Naruto Nai is here now so everything will be alright. Lisana said with a pained voice. Lisana don't talk, you need to rest. We need to get you to a hospital somehow and get you healed. Mira said as tears flowed freely from her face. Just then Lisana's body started disappearing from her feet up. Take Mira Ni and Elf Nai for Naruto Nai. I love you all. Lisana said before she vanished. Lisana. Mirajane cried out as she turned to look at Naruto. What do we do? Naruto just shook his head as he let his own tears flow. She's gone, Mira, I'm sorry. Naruto said as Mira broke down yelling and crying. Naruto just pulled the young woman into a hug and tried his best to be strong for the both of them. -2 months later. It had been 2 months since Lisana had died and the guild was slowly getting back into place. Losing Lisana was hard especially for the Strauss siblings and the Uzumaki brothers. Naruto sat in the shade of a tree along with Juvia, Mirajane, and Levy. Mira and Levy were two of the very few that knew about Juvia and Naruto's relationship. The three girls had grown close over the months and Juvia was even there to help when she had heard of the youngest Strauss's death. Juvia looked at Mira and Levy and saw the looks in their eyes that the two always had when with Naruto. The looks of wanting to love and be loved in return. She was sure she had those same looks before she and Naruto had gotten together. She had noticed the looks the two girls gave Naruto when they thought no one was looking, but she always noticed them. At first she thought they might have been crushing on Naruto, he was a good man, always treated her right and cared very deeply for her. Then she started to notice the small looks he gave them. She waited for him to say something about it, but he never did, probably fear of hurting her in some way. She had thought long and hard about her decision on what to do and deep down knew it would work out. Naruto-kun, could you get Juvia and the girl something to drink please? Juvia asked for a nod from Naruto who got up and walked away. Juvia knew of the Dragon Slayer's heightened senses, so she waited to make sure he was far enough away before turning to the other two women. You like Naruto-kun don't you? Juvia asked. Both girls blushed slightly and tried to hide it. It was Mira who spoke up first. Of course we like Naruto-kun, he's our friend and family. That's not what Juvia means. Juvia sees how you two look at Naruto-kun, it was the same way that Juvia looked at him as well. It's true you care about him because he is your friend and family, but you also care for him on a much deeper level. Juvia can't see it in your eyes. Juvia said. After a few minutes of silence, Levy sighed. It's true Juvia-chan, we do care for Naruto more than we should. But don't worry, we won't do anything to mess with the relationship between you two. Levy said. Juvia knows you wouldn't. Naruto-kun has a very big heart. He is a good person, very caring, and I'm sure he can love all of us the same. Juvia said, getting shocked looks from Mira and Levy. What are you saying Juvia-chan? Mira asked. Juvia will share Naruto-kun with you two, and you two only, but you must be the ones to tell him of your feelings. That is if Naruto-kun returns your feelings. If not then there is nothing else Juvia can do. She explained before getting tackled into a hug by the two girls. Flashback end. Naruto chuckled at that memory, that was indeed an interesting day. He learned that not only did Mirajane and Levy have feelings for him, but that their feelings had been growing for him more and more. He was surprised to see that Juvia was willing to share him with these other two girls. At first it was a little weird, dating three girls at one time, but the four of them soon got into a comfortable relationship. They still kept it a secret since Juvia was still in Phantom Lord. As Naruto was lost in thought, a knock sounded at his door. He slipped on some clothes and walked downstairs to answer the door wondering who was here this late. He opened the door to find Mikao standing there. What's up Mikao, could this not wait till morning? Naruto asked with a yawn. Natsu is at it again. Master said you are needed at the guild now. Mikao said before turning and leaving. Naruto just sighed as he made his way back up the stairs and gathered his things. When he was done he placed a small kiss on each of the girls' cheek before making a clone. When they wake up, explain what happened and that I'll be back as soon as possible. Come on Kurama, let's go fix Natsu's problem again. And with that Naruto headed for the guild with Kurama on his head. Naruto walked into the guild and found Makarov sitting on the bar. What happened this time Gigi? Natsu took an S-class job. From the way it seems, Lucy and Happy went with him. I sent Gray to bring them back, but they haven't returned yet. Makarov said. You do realize what you just said, right? Naruto asked. Makarov thought it over before sighing when he actually did realize what he had done. He had sent Gray to bring back said boy's rival. Not the best person to send. With a sigh, Makarov shook his head. You and Urza are to go and bring them back here immediately. Hi, master. Naruto said as he looked for Urza and found her already by the door. Guessing you're ready then? Getting a nod in return, Urza, Naruto, and Kurama left the guild. We find Urza, Naruto, and Kurama currently heading toward Galuna Island on a pirate ship. Naruto, trying to keep his motion sickness under control, looks around at all the knocked out pirates. Did you really need to knock them all out, Urza? Naruto asked. We needed a way onto the island and no one was volunteering to take us, and why aren't you passed out or more sick? Natsu can't handle motion sickness, so how can you? Urza replied while making sure the captain was taking them the right way. For one, it is bothering me, but not as bad as Natsu. I guess I can deal with it better than him. And second, you didn't even bother asking these guys, you just stepped on their ship and started knocking them out. Not the best way to go about things, Urza. Naruto said as the ship rocked, causing him to get a little sicker. It doesn't matter now, we have arrived at the island. Let's find those four and get back to the guild. Kurama said as the trio of mages jumped off the ship and onto the shore. Can you smell any of them, Naruto? Naruto smelled the air, trying to find the scent of his brother and friends. After a few minutes, he found Natsu's scent. It seems like they are in that direction, probably near the top of that mountain somewhere. Naruto said as he pointed toward the mountain in front of them. Well, come on, we have a good walk ahead of us and need to hurry so we can return to the guild. Urza started walking but was suddenly lifted off the ground and into the air. Looking over her shoulder, she saw Kurama carrying her toward the top of the mountain. Seeing her look at him, Kurama spoke up. It's faster this way, and Naruto has his lightning armor which gives him the speed boost. Urza just nodded as the two flew toward the mountain. It only took a couple minutes for the two to make it to the top and land. They looked for Naruto and found him peeking over an old wall of some sort. What are you doing, Naruto? Kurama asked. Naruto turned to them and put his finger to his mouth before pointing at something. As Kurama and Urza looked, they saw Natsu's group standing in front of a group of sorcerers, and four other figures appeared, one masked, one female, and two males. Let's wait and see what happens, and if it gets out of control, we can interfere. Naruto said, getting nods from the other two. Boy, assholes, what the hell are you doing on this island? Natsu shouted as he walked toward the four figures. The masked person looked toward the group of mages before looking back toward the sorcerers. Continuing with the moon drip, Deliora is almost unthawed. I will deal with these intruders myself. As Gray was listening, the person's voice reminded him of Ur's other student. Lion, is that you? Gray asked. The masked person looks at Gray for a few minutes before removing his headpiece. It has been a while, hasn't it, Gray? Have to come to bear witness as I defeat Deliora and surpass her? Lion asked. You can't do this, Lion. Sacrificed herself to stop that demon. Gray said as he stepped forward. Eyed Gray, she didn't sacrifice herself for anything. She was killed by Deliora because of your need for revenge. I will melt the ice around Deliora and then I will slay the demon. But first I will deal with the three of you. Lion shouted back. Isn't dead, she used an ice shell to freeze Deliora, and the ice that surrounds the demon is herself. She didn't want you to know because she knew that you would search for a way to reverse the magic. Gray explained, trying to change Lion's mind. Lion-sama, the moon drip is finished. Deliora will be free from the ice momentarily. One of the sorcerers said, walking up to Lion. You three go and destroy the village. As you can see, Gray, it is too late for you to do anything. Now be gone, Ice Make. Eagle. Lion shouted as he raised a single hand and pointed it at the mages as his subordinates left the mountaintop. A blue magic circle appeared in front of them as eagles made from ice shot out. As everyone started to defend themselves, a shout of water wall was heard as another figure landed in front of them and slammed their hands on the ground. A wall of water shot up and blocked the ice projectiles, which turned the water to ice as the eagles made contact. You all need to react quicker next time. The figure said as he turned to the group and revealed himself to be Naruto. A few seconds later, Urza and Kurama joined the group. What are you guys doing here? Natsu asked, only to receive a fist to the back of his head. Why the hell would you take an S-class job knowing you aren't allowed? Each of you are in for it when we return to the guild. First though, we should probably help these villagers since we are already here. Urza, you take Lucy and Kurama and go after those three from before. Naruto said as the three mentioned people left. You two head back to where you saw Deliora. If the moon drip is done, then the demon will be freed shortly and you two need to stop it as fast as possible. Meet at the village when you are done. I'll leave Lion and meet up with you all shortly. Naruto said, as Gray protested. I will deal with Lion myself. Gray said, walking toward Naruto and Lion. Gray goes with Natsu and takes care of the demon. Her gave her life to save you that day, do it for your master Gray. Naruto said, trying to reason with the young man. Gray slowly nodded before turning and leaving with Natsu. Naruto turned back around and stepped around the ice wall. Shall we begin then? There is no way they can manage to beat Deliora, they are weak. Lion laughed. Natsu and Gray are two of the strongest mages we have at Fairy Tail. Besides, Deliora has been frozen in that ice for 10 years, and if what Gray explained about the iced shell is true, then the demon will put up little fight when the two of them work together. Naruto said with a smile. I will be the one to destroy Deliora. You use water magic, it seems I have the upper hand with this fight. I will finish things here and then deal with those other two before taking care of Deliora myself. Lion said as he got ready to fight. I won't go as easy as you're hoping I will. You threatened my friends and family and because of that you won't get past me. Naruto replied. Ice make. Dragonfly. Lion shouted as he created a few dozen dragonflies. The dragonflies then homed in on Naruto and moved forward at an incredible speed. Naruto jumped backwards before releasing his own magic attack. Water Dragon's crashing wave. A large wave of water exploded from Naruto's hands crashing down on top of the dragonflies. Naruto looked back at Lion to see the surprise on his face from his attack being stopped so easily. If that surprised you then wait till you see this. Clone magic. Naruto said as two copies of himself appeared beside him. Lion was shocked but quickly got over it. It doesn't matter if there is one or three of you. Ice make. Mouse. A magic circle appeared near Lion's feet as groups of mice shot out at Naruto and his clones. Naruto and his clones started dodging each mouse, neither noticing Lion preparing another attack. Ice make. Triple snow dragon. Naruto and the clones looked up just in time to see three large dragons made of ice coming crashing down on top of them. The clones disappeared and Naruto was sent flying backwards. You never stood a chance. Lion started with a smirk before it disappeared when he saw Naruto stand back up. I'll admit that I stung like a bitch, but I have been hit by Gray's ice, which hurts a hell of a lot more than that. Water Dragon's roar. Naruto shouted as a large stream of water was sent flying from his mouth toward Lion. Lion slammed his hands on the ground, causing a wall of ice to appear and stop the attack. He wasn't expecting Naruto to come busting through the ice at him. Lightning Dragon's claw. Naruto shouted as he punched Lion in the face, sending him flying through the air. Naruto activated his lightning armor and appeared above Lion mid-flight, shocking the man. Wind Dragon's crushing talon. Naruto spun in the air before delivering an axe kick to Lion's stomach and sending him slamming into the ground. What are you? Lion asked in a pained voice. I am an elemental dragon slayer and a mage of Fairy Tail. Never forget that, Lion. Naruto said before he knocked Lion out and headed toward the village to see if Urza and the others needed help. Natsu and Gray made their way back to the cave where Deliora was located. When they arrived at the large open area where Deliora was, they saw the demon break free from the remaining ice and let out a loud roar. Gray stopped in his tracks after hearing that roar after so long. Natsu noticed this and turned to Gray. Gray, you alright, man? Natsu asked the ice mage. I'm fine, I just never thought this demon would ever come back. Gray replied to his rival. Yeah, me either, but we need to take it off now. We can pay back for both our families. Natsu said as they turned back to the demon. Deliora finished breaking free from the ice and looked around the opening. As its eyes landed on the two young mages, a black circle appeared in front of its mouth. A large black beam of magic was fired from its mouth at Natsu and Gray jumped away to avoid the attack. So how do you want to do this, Flame Brain? Gray asked as he continued to dodge the attacks from Deliora. The only way we Fairy Tail mages know how to, time to go all out. Natsu said with a large grin plastered to his face. Gray and Natsu landed next to each other as they both prepared their own attack. Ice make. Ice cannon. Gray said as a large bazooka was formed out of ice. Next to him, Natsu readied his attack. Fire Dragon's roar. Natsu shouted his attack as Gray launched a large ice ball from his cannon. The fire surrounded the ice ball mid-flight as the two attacks flew at Deliora. The attack flew straight at Deliora and pierced right through the demon's chest and out its back. Natsu and Gray both were shocked as they watched the demon slowly disappear. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Natsu said with a bit of disappointment in his voice. The ice shell slowly drained the demon of its power over the last 10 years, I still thought it would put up a bit more of a fight though. Gray explained. Thank you, Gray silently thought with a smile. Well, we should head back to the village. Put your clothes back on and let's head out. Natsu said, as Gray looked down and saw he was only in his boxers. When the three boys arrived at the village, Urza, Lucy, and Kurama had made quick work out of Lion's followers and were currently trying to find a way to reverse the effects of the moon drip. After a bit of discussion, Urza decided to destroy the moon with Natsu's help, only to reveal to the others that there was a barrier over the village due to the moon drip. After helping the villagers, the group of 5 mages and 2 cats got on the ship Urza had taken and made their way home. It was early morning when the group arrived back in Magnolia. As they walked, they heard the whispers of the townspeople about how they must not know what had happened to the guild. Hurrying back to the guild, they saw that it was destroyed and had metal poles sticking out all over the guild hall. As they entered the guild, Naruto saw Mira walk into the kitchen area and followed after her, making sure no one was really paying attention while the others went to talk with the master. Kurama flew off to the bar to get him something to drink. Walking into the kitchen, Naruto saw Mira standing in front of the sink and walked up behind her and wrapped his arms around her. "Morning, Mirajane." Jumping in surprise at first, she turned around and gave her boyfriend a playful slap on the chest. After that, she leaned up and captured his lips in a kiss. "Morning, Naruto-kun, I guess everything went okay." "Yeah, everything went fine." "What happened here, did anyone get hurt?" Naruto asked. "No one was here last night, so no one got hurt. We think it might have been Phantom Lord, but we have no way of proving it," Mirajane explained as she leaned into Naruto's chest. "I'm guessing Juvia-chan went back to her guild, so where's Levy-chan?" "Shadow Gear took a mission about an hour ago, they're supposed to be back later tonight." "How much longer do we need to keep this from the guild, Naru-kun? I don't like having to sneak around to be with you, and neither does Levy or Juvia," Mira asked with a cute little pout. "You know that master said we have to wait until Juvia-chan leaves Phantom Lord. He doesn't want anyone to shun her for being in a different guild, plus with what happened and everyone blaming Phantom, it wouldn't help right now anyways. And besides, the master doesn't even know about you and Levy yet, so imagine everyone's reactions when they find out I'm with 3 of the most beautiful girls around," Naruto said before hearing Natsu screaming. "Oh, calm your brother down, Naru-kun, we'll talk later. Love you," Mira said before kissing Naruto on the cheek. "Love you too, Mira-chan," Naruto said as he turned to leave. Walking out of the kitchen, he walked over and listened to the conversation between Natsu and Makarov to figure out what was going on. "They attacked our home, Gramps, we can't let them get by with this. We need to march over there and kick their fucking asses," Natsu shouted. "No one was hurt, Natsu, and the guild hall can be rebuilt. We will not start a guild war with Phantom over them just attacking the guild. That's final, so leave it at that," Makarov replied. Natsu caught sight of Naruto from the corner of his eye and turned to face him. "What do you think?" Everyone turned to face Naruto to see what he would say. "Honestly, I agree with you. But we can't go against the master and his orders, so we will just have to leave it at that for now. I'm sorry, Natsu, but we must listen and follow orders." The others were shocked at Naruto agreeing with Natsu. Most expected him to agree with the master like usual, while the others figured he was agreeing with Natsu for the same reasons Natsu was arguing with Makarov. Clearing his throat, he got everyone's attention. "Until this is all over, I want everyone to stay with someone else, at least 2 people in a group at all times," Makarov said, getting nods from the mages. After everyone started to leave and go about their business, Natsu turned back to Naruto. "Who are you staying with?" "I'm gonna take Mira-chan, Elfman, and Levy-chan back to my place." "Do you need someone to bunk with?" Naruto asked the pink-haired mage. "Nah, Urza, Gray, and I are gonna go stay with Lucy. See you in the morning," Natsu replied as he took off out the door. It was close to 10 o'clock as Naruto and Elfman waited on Mirajane to finish locking up the guild. After everything was done and locked, 3 mages headed home with Naruto leading the way. As they walked, Elfman broke the silence. "What's wrong with Naruto? Real men shouldn't look so depressed," Elfman asked as he looked at the blonde mage. "I'm just worried about Levy-chan. I figured she would be back by now and neither of the 3 have returned," Naruto replied as he ran his fingers through his hair. "They'll be fine, Naruto, just have some faith in them," Mira said as she pulled him into a hug. "I know, Mira, but I still worry about her. Come on, let's get back to my place," Naruto said as he led them down the road. Across town, Team Shadow Gear was just arriving back in town from a mission that took longer than they thought it would. As they continued on their way back to the guild, neither saw the shadowy figure approach from behind them until it was too late. The figure picked up the 3 unconscious mages and walked through the town. "Thought you all were supposed to be one of the strongest guilds in Fiori. Maybe after they see you 3 someone will prove to be a challenge." The figure laughed as he continued his walk. Naruto was sleeping peacefully until he was awoken by a knock on the door. As he quickly got dressed, he left his room as Mira and Elfman were coming out of theirs at the same time. What's going on? Elfman asked. I don't know the big guy yet. Naruto replied as he hurried down the stairs followed closely by Mira and Elfman. Opening the door, Naruto came face to face with his little brother. What's going on? Naruto started to ask before Natsu cut him off. Southgate Park, it's Levy. Natsu said, getting a gasp from Mirajane and a worried look from Naruto. Grab on now. Naruto said as Mira, Elfman, and Natsu each placed a hand on Naruto. In a flash of red lightning, all 4 mages were gone before reappearing in front of the large tree in the center of the park. What Naruto saw made his blood boil as Mira covered her mouth in shock. Pinned to the tree was the unconscious Team Shadow Gear. Each member was pinned to the tree by their wrist with Levy in the middle and the 2 male mages of Shadow Gear on either side of her. Levy's shirt was also ripped open and had the Phantom Lord Guild hallmark on her stomach. Mira had tears in her eyes and Naruto's lightning armor had activated. As he walked forward, he was releasing his magic power as it swirled around him. The power that was flowing from him caused the ground to crack with each step and caused most of the people around him to start to tremble. He made 2 clones and freed Jet and Roy as he snapped the metal pins that were holding Levy. He carried her bridal style as he walked back towards Mira with a few tears in his eyes now as well. I'm taking her to the infirmary, watch over her please. Mira nodded as she placed a hand on Naruto's arm. Where are you going, Naruto? Makarov asked from behind. Phantom just signed their death wish. I'm going to annihilate every last one of them. Naruto growled out before him and his clones disappeared with the other 4 mages. At the back of the crowd, Natsu grabbed Urza and Gray and drugged them away. What are you doing with your flame brain? Gray asked. Even though he won't need it, we're going to help Naruto. The Phantom attacked our family and we won't sit around and let them get away with it. Natsu said as he continued to drag the 2 mages. Naruto and his clones appeared in the makeshift infirmary underneath the destroyed guild hall in a flash of red lightning along with Mirajane and the unconscious members of Shadow Gear. Naruto gently placed the 3 mages down in separate beds before his clones vanished. He leaned down and placed a quick kiss on Levy's cheek before turning to Mira. I'll be back soon, Mira-chan. Naruto said as Mira wrapped her arms around his neck. I wish you weren't going on your own. I know you can handle things yourself, but I'm still worried. Mira replied. I'm not going alone, I'm sure Natsu and Gray both are back at the house waiting on me. Knowing Urza, I'm sure she will want to tag along as well. We'll be fine, I promise. Naruto said as Kurama flew into the room. How is Naruto? Kurama asked as he landed on Levy's bed. She seems fine, but I'm not sure. I sent a clone to get Yusuke or a doctor from the hospital, whichever can get here first to check on the 3 of them. I want you to stay here and keep an eye on them as well. Naruto said, getting a nod from the small cat. See you in a bit. Naruto gave Mira a quick kiss before flashing back to his house where Natsu, Gray, and Urza were sitting in the living room. I figured you 3 would tag along. They attacked our family, we can't let them get away with that. We'll beat all of them into nothing more than a bloody pulp. Natsu said as he held his palm with his fist. Aye sir. Happy yelled from his spot on Natsu's shoulder as Gray and Urza just nodded in agreement. One thing before we go though, when we find the person that attacked Levy and the others. That person is mine and mine alone, no one will interfere at all or there will be hell to pay. Now hold on, I have a rune just outside of Oaktown that I use for missions and stuff. This way, we will have some quality time with Phantom Lord before the others show up. Naruto said as the others placed a hand on his body and they vanished. Appearing outside a small town, the group looks around before looking at Naruto. So which way is Natsu? Urza asked. Naruto points to a large building toward the very back of the town. The tall one in the back is where we're headed. Once we get there will be no holding back whatsoever. Naruto said as he took off running for the Phantom Lord Guild. Inside of the Phantom Lord Guild Hall, everyone was celebrating their victory over the fairies. They were drinking, laughing, and looking for jobs to take. 3 of Phantom's mages had just picked a job and were headed for the front door. As the trip neared the door, it exploded inward, crashing into them. Naruto and Natsu both stood where the door had just been with their hands covered in flames. I am looking for someone special. I am looking for the bastard that attacked a group of fairy tale mages last night and chained them to a tree. If you would be so kind as to step forward so I could kick your ass, I would appreciate it. Naruto said it loud enough for everyone to hear him. If you want to get to Gajiel, you have to go through us first. Screamed a random mage. An evil smirk appeared on Naruto's face, sending a slight shiver down everyone's backs. That can be arranged. Attack. Naruto shouted to his 3 friends and guildmates. With that one word, Naruto, Urza, Natsu, and Gray leapt into the middle of Phantom's mages. Urza into her heaven's wheel armor and start slicing at the enemy as Gray froze people before sending them flying. Natsu was launching one fire attack after another, taking out large numbers at a time. Even Happy was using a large fish to smack around a few of the mages. Naruto stood in the middle of a group of mages that had surrounded him. Water Dragon's crashing wave. Naruto spread his hands out to his sides as water shot forward and knocked away a few of the mages. The few that weren't knocked away tried to rush Naruto. Naruto sidestepped a punch to his face as he grabbed the man's arm and flung him into another mage that ran forward. Water Dragon's claws. His hands were covered in water that took the shape of claws as he began swiping at his enemies, leaving large cuts on their bodies. Sitting in the rafters of the building, a lone figure could be seen watching the blonde with interest. Two more dragon slayers, let's see what they're made of. Thought the figure as he jumped from the rafters and fell toward Naruto. Iron Dragon's club. The man shouted when he was over Naruto. Said blonde only had time to cross his arms in front of him to try and block the attack. When the attack hit, Naruto was pushed back towards the other members of Fairy Tail. Names Gajul Red Fox, S-Class Mage of Phantom Lord, and the ones that beat that puny trio you call mages. Who the hell are you? Gajul asked. Natsu went to step forward but was stopped by Naruto raising his arm. I said he was mine, don't interfere. Naruto said before looking directly at Gajul. As for who I am? My name is Naruto Dragneel Uzumaki, S-Class Mage of Fairy Tail. Naruto said as he was covered in his lightning armor. Lightning? But you just used water magic. Gajul said a bit worried. I can use all 5 elements of Gajul. You should know one thing though. Naruto said as his lightning armor covered his body and he disappeared. He reappeared right in front of Gajul as he grabbed the Iron Dragon Slayer by the face and forced him back into a wall. Everyone from Phantom Lord was shocked to see the blonde strength and speed used against their strongest mage. I am your worst fucking nightmare right now. Naruto said as he pulled Gajul from the hole and threw him into the air. Lightning Dragon's roar. A spiral of lightning flew from Naruto's mouth and hit Gajul dead center in the chest. Gajul slowly stood up after hitting the ground. That's the best you got. Gajul said, trying to sound strong, but the pain could be heard in his voice. Not even close. I'm just getting started. Naruto said before shots were heard near the door. Taking a quick look, Naruto saw Makarov and other members of Fairy Tail. Makarov started toward Naruto, but stopped when Naruto raised a hand. This is the asshole that hurt Levy-chan, this is my fight. Go find their master and deal with him, I'll be done by time you make it back. Naruto said, getting a nod from Makarov who headed for the stairs. Not so fast, old man. Iron Dragon's sword. Gajul's right arm turned into a large sword as he leapt at Makarov. Lightning Dragon's flame talon. Naruto intercepted Gajul as he kicked Gajul in the gut with his foot covered in flames and lightning. I'm not done with you yet. Naruto said as Gajul hit a wooden beam. Naruto wasted no time as he rushed the downed Slayer. Gajul had just managed to get back to his feet when Naruto's knee connected with his gut. As Gajul doubled over in pain, Naruto brought his elbow down on the back of Gajul's head before spinning and kicking him across the guild and into the far wall, kicking up a cloud of dust and debris. Iron Dragon's kunai. Gajul shouted from the dust cloud as small iron knives came flying at Naruto. Naruto successfully dodged the kunai but was surprised when another shout was heard. Iron Dragon's club. Naruto braced for the club but wasn't expecting it to come from below him. The attack connected with his chin and sent the blonde high into the air. Gajul appeared above him with his iron sword ready to slice him in half. Naruto pulled his own kunai from a pouch on his leg and threw it past Gajul. The Iron Dragon Slayer just laughed. You missed Blondie. Naruto just smirked before he disappeared in a flash of lightning as Gajul gained a surprised look. Naruto speared above Gajul just as the kunai passed his body. Naruto quickly created his attack and drove it hard into Gajul's back. Rasengan. Naruto yelled as the ball of magic drove into Gajul's back before sending him flying down to the floor. Gajul slowly stood as a magic circle appeared below his feet. Iron Dragon Scales. Gajul's body was soon covered in metal scales as he stared Naruto down. Now we'll have some fun. Back in Magnolia, Lucy was heading to the store for Mirajane since she didn't want to leave Levy and the others alone. As she was walking, her foot suddenly got stuck in the ground. She tried pulling it free, but nothing worked. Suddenly a man with green hair, wearing a brown suit. Would you happen to be Lucy Hertfilia by any chance? Asked the man. What if I am, what's to you? Lucy asked. My name is Soul, I am a member of Element 4 from Phantom Lord and I need you to come with me. Soul explained. I ain't going anywhere with you. Lucy said as she reached for her keys. Then I am afraid I have no choice but to force you. Soul said, as he made two largest hands of earth that wrapped around the blonde girl. He also molded some earth over her mouth to keep her from screaming as he took her away from Magnolia. Naruto and Gajeel stood still, just simply staring each other down. No one dared enter their fight due to the power the two possessed. Naruto got tired of waiting and burst forward in a blur as he raised his lightning-covered fist. At the same time, Gajeel did the same thing as he raised his scale-covered fist. As the two dragon slayers threw their punch, both connected at the same time with the other's face and sent both of them flying backwards from the force. Naruto was the first to recover and immediately rushed forward. He drove his knee into Gajeel's gut, causing him to double over in pain. Naruto then spun on the heel of his left foot as he kicked Gajeel in the side of the head with his right foot, sending him flying once again. Gajeel righted himself in midair and launched his own attack. Iron Dragon's Roar. Gajeel launched a powerful tornado of metal at Naruto, which sent the blonde sliding across the ground. Naruto stood back up as both dragon slayers stood breathing hard, getting ready for their next attack. Iron Dragon's Hard Fist. Lightning Dragon's Stinging Fist. Both slayers ran at one another with their attacks ready. They met halfway as lightning met iron as the two pushed against one another. Naruto and Gajeel both tried to get the upper hand in the battle of their attacks. Naruto was slowly gaining the advantage before the ceiling exploded, causing the two to split apart or get crushed. After the smoke cleared, everyone saw Makarov laying on the ground looking very green. Over next to Gajeel, a tall muscular man landed next to him. Makarov had been dealt with thanks to my draining magic. Soul returned and informed me that he had captured Lucy Hertfilia. Arya whispered, but thanks to his hearing, Naruto heard it. Picking Makarov up, Naruto moved back with the rest of the guild. Fall back to the guild hall. Everyone, fall back now. Naruto yelled, but was met with shouts of protest. Return to the guild this instant or I will kick your asses back there myself. Naruto shouted as magic flowed around him. The fairy tail members decided to comply with him this time and soon started leaving. Don't think this is over, Gajeel, you will pay for what you did to Levi-chan and the others. Urza takes the master to Perusuka and tells her that he was attacked with some kind of draining magic. Naruto said, getting a nod from the redhead as he turned back to the phantom mages. Natsu, did you hear what that guy said? Naruto asked for a nod from his brother. Naruto then grabbed a random phantom lord mage and threw him to Natsu. Find out where they are holding her and rescue her, then report immediately back to the guild. Natsu nodded and grabbed the phantom mage before leaving. Naruto gathered his magic energy as he leapt into the air. In his right hand, lightning magic began gathering and in his left was water magic. He combined the two above his head, creating a large magic ball of lightning and water. Dragon Slayer Secret Art. Maelstrom Fury. He yelled out as he threw the ball of magic at the building the phantom mages were in. The attack hit the building and exploded, bringing part of the building down on the mages. Naruto quickly turned and left with the others as they headed back to Magnolia Town. Naruto sat in the basement of the Fairy Tail Guild with the rest of the members. After checking in with Perusuka on Makarov's condition, he had returned to the guild to try and come up with a plan to use against Phantom Lord. Naruto watched as the members took care of what injuries they had gotten, which thankfully wasn't anything major. Natsu had returned with Lucy about an hour after everyone else, and he was happy to see neither one was harmed. As Naruto continued to look around the basement, a cloaked figure slowly made their way down the stairs. He started to move to intercept the person, but stopped when Kurama instantly flew into the person's arms. Hello, Kurama-kun. Good to see you again. The person said in a feminine voice. Good to see you too, Juvia-chan. Kurama replied before settling into Juvia's arms to sleep as he was petted. Juvia reached up and pulled the hood of her cloak down and revealed herself to the guild. Everyone had different reactions to the new arrival. Some were wondering who this woman was, others were nervous since dealing with Phantom and were curious as to if she was part of the guild. Naruto and Mirajane had a smile on their faces when they saw Juvia. Urza was a different case though, she knew who Juvia was and where she came from. A sword appeared in Urza's hand and she moved toward the blue-haired woman. What is a member of Phantom doing here? Urza asked as she held the sword up at Juvia. Stand down, Urza. Naruto said, getting the attention of the redhead. Urza made no motion to move the sword. I said stand down, Urza. If Juvia-chan is here, then that means she is no longer part of Phantom Lord. She is my girlfriend and Master Makarov knows this as well. Naruto walked to Juvia and placed a kiss on her lips. Mirajane walked over next and did the same, causing a lot of the male mages to get nosebleeds from seeing the two females kiss. Mirajane, not that I'm complaining, but what are you doing? Asked Wakaba. Juvia-chan, Levi-chan, and I all share Naruto-kun. He is dating the three of us, which means we ladies are dating each other technically, as well. By the way, if you try or say anything perverted, I will castrate you. Mira finished with a smile that promised pain. Where is Levy-chan? Juvia asked, looking around for said mage. Everyone's expressions turned sad as Juvia turned back to Naruto and Mira. Naruto took Juvia's hand and led her to the infirmary where the members of Shadow Gear were at. When Juvia saw Levy, she quickly ran to the young woman's side with tears in her eyes. What happened? They were attacked by Gajil last night. We recently just returned from Phantom's Guild Hall because of this. Naruto said. Juvia will kill him for hurting Levy-chan. Juvia growled out. No Juvia-chan, I know you're angry, but we will deal with this. When Oze learns that you left Phantom to join us, he will come after you too. I want you to stay here with Levy-chan, that way if anyone does manage to get past us you will still be here. Kurama will stay here with you as well. Naruto explained. Just as Juvia went to reply, a large tremor shook everyone. Naruto hurried back to the main area as Elzak and Bisca were running down the stairs. Everyone, outside now. You need to see this. Everyone followed the two gun mages outside before stopping in their tracks. The Phantom Lord Guild Hall was sitting on a piece of land that was walking with the help of 6 large mechanical legs. What the hell is that? Asked Kana. That's Phantom's super mage giant Phantom MK2 daughters said, walking up behind everyone else. The large moving building stopped on the other side of a lake across from Fairy Tail. A few seconds later, Oze's voice rang out. All you have to do is hand over Lucy Hertfilia and that traitorous Rain bitch and the rest of you will be spared. Oze said. You can go and burn in the deepest depths of hell, Oze. You won't be getting either one, we at Fairy Tail protect our own. You mess with one of us and the whole guild will be after you. Naruto shouted back. Very well then. If that's how you wish to be. Fire the Jupiter cannon at once. Oze ordered as a large cannon was revealed. The cannon began gathering energy as it aimed at Fairy Tail. After a few seconds, the large beam was shot towards the mages. Adamantine armor. Urza quickly moved forward and stood in front of the others as she did her best to shield her family. She placed the two parts of the shield together as she took the full impact of the Jupiter cannon's blast. As Urza held her ground against the attack died down slightly before exploding. Urza was sent flying back and was caught by Naruto, who made sure she was alright. He flushed away and took Urza to the infirmary and placed her in bed before reappearing outside, where he heard the final bits of Oze's words and saw him unleash his shades. You have 15 minutes to hand us the 2 girls before we fire again. First you destroyed the guild, we didn't like it, but the guild could be rebuilt. Then you decided to attack our family, that's where you went wrong, Oze. I will personally be the one to kick your sorry ass for hurting those I care about. Fairy Tail, attack. Naruto said as the members of Fairy Tail roared in agreement and began battling the shades. Naruto pulled a kunai from his pouch as he covered it in wind magic. He threw it toward the Phantom's Guild Hall before turning toward Gray. Where's it? He and Happy flew off towards Phantom. Naruto nodded as he grabbed a hold of Gray and Elfman's arm. Time to kick Phantom's ass. Naruto said, getting nods from the 2 mages before the 3 vanished. Naruto, Gray, and Elfman appeared in a flash of red lightning in a large open room. Naruto looked around and saw a large damaged Lacrima with Natsu standing on top of it. Natsu saw his brother and guildmates and jumped down and landed in front of the trio. Naruto turned to his brother after finishing looking around the room. Where's Happy? Naruto asked, not to find the blue cat anywhere. When we got here there was a guy who controlled flames guarding the Lacrima. Happy and I knew we didn't have time to deal with him, so Happy snuck up behind him and flew him out of here while I destroyed the Lacrima. Natsu explained just as Happy flew back in and landed on his shoulder. You alright, buddy? Aye, sir. Happy exclaimed. So what's the plan, Naruto? Gray asked, getting everyone's attention. There are 3 members of Element 4 and Gajil left, plus Oze. First, we look for Gajil and the other 3 and make sure they are out of the fight. After that, Oze is mine and mine alone. Naruto explained. Where do you think they are located? They should just come out and fight us like real men. Elfman asked. Well, I hate to admit it, Oze is smart. After the beating I gave Gajil, he more than likely doesn't want his members fighting us by themselves anymore. They are probably grouped together right now waiting for us. Naruto explained before a scent caught his attention. You smell it too, Natsu asked. Yeah, that's definitely Gajil's scent. Seems like they aren't too far away either. Let's go, guys. Naruto said before leading the other 3 mages and 1 cat toward their targets. The 4 mages and 1 cat busted through a set of large wooden doors and into what appeared to be a large meeting room. Across the large open room stood 4 of Phantom Lord's strongest members. The 3 remaining members of Element 4 and their ace Gajil Red Fox, the Iron Dragon Slayer. Took you scumbags long enough to get here. Gajiel said with a smirk. I want a rematch with Uzumaki. Sorry Gajiel, but I don't have time for you all. I need to find your master and make him pay for what he has done. Naruto replied. I'm afraid I cannot let you anywhere near Master Oze. Arya said as tears fell from his eyes before he seemed to disappear from sight. Where did he go? Come and fight us like a real man. Shouted Elfman. What he didn't notice was Natsu and Naruto's smirks as they sniffed the air. Aniki? Yeah, I smell him. Gray, behind us. Naruto said, causing Gray to bring his hands together and a magic circle appeared. Ice make. Wall. Gray said as he moved his hands apart and a wall of ice appeared behind the fairy tale mages. Just because you seem to disappear from our sight doesn't mean you can disappear from our smell. Naruto said as Arya reappeared by his teammates from his failed attack. Now it's my turn. Naruto said as he was surrounded by red lighting and a blue ball of magic appeared in his hand. Before anyone could blink, Naruto was in front of Arya with his hand outstretched. Rasengan. Shouted Naruto as Arya was sent flying into a wall behind him before slumping to the ground in defeat. Naruto vanished again, dodging the attacks from the remaining 3 phantom mages and reappearing next to his teammates. I'm going after Oze. I leave these 3 up to you all. Naruto said as he headed for the door they had busted through. He stopped and looked back at Natsu with a smirk on his face. And, don't be afraid to go all out. I know you haven't mastered it yet, but I will let you use it this one time. Naruto said, getting a smile and a nod from his little brother. What's the blonde bastard talking about? What are you going to go all out with? Totamaru asked. You'll find out soon enough. Natsu said as the 3 fairy tale mages rushed the 3 phantom mages. As the 3 fairies closed in on their targets, a large ball of flame was launched at them. Gray acted quickly and made another ice wall to block the ball of flame. Natsu was in front of his teammates and his hand was soon covered in flames. Fire Dragon's Iron Fist. Natsu shouted as he punched his way through the ice wall and connected with Totamaru's face on the other side. The fire mage was sent flying backward several feet before finally coming to a stop. No one noticed Soul emerge from the ground behind them. You 3 have no chance against us. We know your strengths and weaknesses, we have been watching all of Fairy Tail for quite some time now. We know everything about you pathetic fairies. Totamaru said with a smirk. Big brother Elfman. Came a voice from behind the 3 fairy tale mages that made them freeze. Turning around they saw Lysandra standing there smiling at them. All 3 of them stood there for a few silent moments before all 3 of them gave a small smile. You think making a fake copy of my little sister will help you? That night haunted me for the longest time, day and night. But thanks to my family and friends, I got through that. Lysandra would never want me to sit around blaming myself for that night, so I used that to push myself to get stronger, so I would never do something like that again. Take over. Beast Soul. Elfman shouted as his body was surrounded by a bright light. When the light died down, the 3 phantom mages were shocked to see he still had control of his takeover. This guy is mine. Elfman said before rushing Soul. I'll take care of Totamaru, you handle Gajiel. Gray said, getting a nod from Natsu. Gray brought his hands together as he rushed the fire-wielding mage. Ice make. Gauntlet. Gray's right hand was covered in ice and grew to double the size of his normal hand. Gray dodged each flame sent at him until he was close to Totamaru. Once he reached him, Gray drove his ice-covered hand into Totamaru's guy, knocking the wind from him and sending him flying. Gray wasn't about to let the phantom mage have a second of rest and pressed the attack. Once again bringing his hands together, a blue magic circle appeared above Totamaru's head. Ice make. Hammer. Gray shouted as a large ice hammer came crashing down on top of the fire mage's head, effectively knocking him out. Gray turned away from the fallen mage and saw Elfman walking up to him. Where's Soul? Laying in a crater over there. Elfman said, jabbing a thumb over his shoulder. Should we help Natsu? Nah, Flame Brain can handle Gajiel. We should go back and help the others until Naruto is done with Oze. Gray said, getting a nod from Elfman in return as the 2 went to help their family. Natsu and Gajiel were putting everything they had into their fight. Both mages were launching spell after spell at the other. Both were bruised and their bodies were littered with cuts everywhere. Natsu was hoping to end the fight and jumped into the air away from Gajiel. Both his hands were covered in flames and he brought them together over his head. Fire Dragon's Brilliant Flame. He shouted as he launched the fireball at his opponent. Gajiel didn't have time to dodge, but he did activate another one of his spells as his body was covered in iron scales. The fireball connected with Gajiel causing smoke to arise. Natsu, thinking he had won, turns and starts walking away only to be hit in the back with Gajiel's iron club. After Natsu slowly picks himself up, he scales Gajiel's scales. Should have known you wouldn't be taken down so easily. Natsu said with a small smirk. You can't win while I have my iron scales active. I'm a lot stronger now, plus this will hold up against even your flames. Gajeel laughed. Then how about we take this up a notch? Your iron scales against my dragon force and see which one walks away from here. Natsu said as he started gathering more magic energy. Fire drive. A shockwave of magic energy flew from Natsu and pushed Gajeel back a bit. His body was covered in scales and his teeth and nails grew a little longer. What the hell is that? Gajeel asked, looking over Natsu's new appearance. This is Dragon Force, a Dragon Slayer's strongest ability. I haven't mastered it yet like Naruto Nai has, but I can use it for just over 5 minutes, which is more than enough time for me to kick your ass. Now you face the power of a real dragon. Natsu yelled as an apparition of a large red dragon appeared behind him, causing Gajeel to take a few steps back as one thought crossed his mind. What the hell did I get myself into? Earlier with Naruto. Naruto was walking along the halls of the Phantom Guild Hall looking for Oze. He was behind every door he came upon and still hadn't found him yet. Coming to a set of large wooden doors, Naruto was tired of looking for Oze the way he had been, so he decided to knock his way. He coated his foot in solid rock and kicked the doors off their hinges and sent them flying into the middle of the room where they landed with a loud thud. Naruto walked into the room and was met with the sound of clapping. Good show of strength, but you could have just knocked like a normal person. Oze said from where he was sitting on the other side of the room on a throne. Naruto pulled 2 kunai from his pouch and held them so it only looked like he had one. Do me a favor and hold this you jackass. Naruto said as he threw the kunai at Oze's head. Dead wave. Oze said as he held out his hand and a purple beam of magic flew from it. He managed to destroy one of the kunai, but by the time he saw the second it was too late. Naruto flashed his kunai and buried his knee deep in Oze's gut. The blonde then flipped backwards and kicked Oze in the chin, snapping his head back against the throne. For one of the 10 wizard saints, I thought you would put up more of a fight. Naruto said as he looked at the downed form of Oze. Oze slowly pushed himself to his feet before looking at the blonde. Suddenly a purple aura of magic energy surrounded the guildmaster as he stared Naruto down. Let's see how well you do when I use my full power. Oze yelled in rage. The two stood staring the other down for a few minutes waiting for the other to make the first move. The two mages soon felt a burst of magic energy that had an evil feel to it. Looks like Gajeel is finally getting serious. Oze said only to be silenced by the next burst of magic that was slightly stronger than the first. What the hell was that? That would be my little brother. Now it's my turn to go full power. Naruto said as his magic began rising. Is that the best you got? You aren't even equally matched with mine yet. Oze laughed out at the blonde before noticing said blonde smirk. That's only part of my power, dipshit. Maybe you should let me finish raising my power before you talk. Naruto said as his magic power shot up even with Oze's, causing his eyes to widen. Just wait, it goes even higher. Element drive. Naruto yelled out as his body was surrounded by a red aura with lightning crackling around him. His body was covered in scales and his eyes become slits. Just picture his version of one chakra cloak but with scales and lightning added in. Oze stared at the blonde in front of him in slight fear. He was one of the 10 wizard saints and this boy in front of him had completely surpassed his power. Oze took a few steps back as Naruto started moving towards him, the air around the young blonde crackling with every step. Stay away from me. Dark wave. Oze sent the wave of dark magic at the blonde who simply sidestepped to avoid the attack. Naruto stopped walking as he brought his hands up in front of him and a ball of light appeared between them. You attack the guild, you attack my family, and more importantly you attack those that are precious to me. No more Oze. Fairy law, invoke. Naruto pushed his hands together as the light flooded the area. When the light finally died down, Oze was lying on the ground looking pale and unconscious. Naruto looked out the window to the shade Oze had created disappearing and the fairy tale members cheered in victory. Naruto made his way out of the room and headed back toward the guild to check up on his girls and wait for Natsu to finish with Gajeel. Natsu stood across from Gajeel, both dragon slayers panting heavily from exhaustion. Natsu knew he didn't have but only a few minutes left with his dragon force. He had small cuts and bruises all over his body from the Iron Dragon Slayer, but he had returned the damage just as much as he had taken. You could see small patches where Gajeel's iron scales had been removed and the skin underneath slightly burnt. Your time is just about fair. Gajeel replied with a smirk. Which just means I need to end this now. Dragon Slayer Secret Arts. Crimson Lotus. Exploding Flame Blade. Natsu yelled as he swung his arms as Gajeel created a large torrent of flames that hit Gajeel and sent him flying into the air. Natsu then appeared above the Iron Dragon Slayer with a smirk of his own. This is for hurting my friends and family. fire dragon's sword horn. Natsu's body was covered in flames as he rocketed towards Gajeel at incredible speed and head-butted him in the stomach and sent him crashing into the floor below. Natsu landed and looked to where Gajeel had landed to see that he was unconscious. His dragon force deactivated and he started to fall backwards but was caught by Happy. Way to go, Natsu. Thanks, Happy. Let's head back to the guild and check on everyone else. Natsu replied with a smile. Aye, sir. The end. Thanks for watching my video and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then sayonara.